Somebody spiked my beverage and I dropped it and spilled it. And then the cleaning crew came up and they threatened to kick me out of the event because I kept spilling my drinks. Yeah. It was a little, yeah, it was a little awkward. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You can give out whatever you want. Yeah. And Hitmarker has this event space for the whole month, so it can continuously be open, and you can direct people to the booth and have them sign up for giveaways and all kinds of fun stuff. The Not by me. No. Facebook. I am streaming to Facebook right now, but I don't think anybody's watching on Facebook. They're mostly watching on Twitch and Periscope. They're like, oh, hey there, whatever your childhood nickname was that you didn't want people to know. Yeah, and then they mention, oh, how are your neighbors on XYZ Road? And you're like, oh, erase, delete, go offline. Yeah, they're basically your family's gonna dox you and inadvertently. Yeah. Oops. Oops. Like, yeah, and she doesn't want you to slide into the DMs either, mate. Like, just keep that. It's like keep that on your end. Unfortunate. Yeah, the internet does have a weird way of welcoming in all the weirdest parts of the world, which is, and I think we got to take the good with the bad. Realistically, you know what I mean. It's people say terrible things to me all the time, especially my children, and if I can tolerate that, I feel like I can tolerate anything. They've helped me be more resilient as a dad. The military helped me be more resilient. But man, my kids they can say some terrible things. It makes my heart sink. Like, oh no, what did I do as a father to deserve such terrible thing? Oh, my daughter's almost 16. Yeah. Yeah. They are, yeah, they're getting much older, and my son's getting ready to turn 13. And they very much they both want their own souped up gaming rigs, and that's going to be exciting because I get to help them build that. And I hope to see them at an event like this where they're like looking for their own jobs. But right now they're like, "Dad, can I come work for you?" And I'm struggling with that because I want to give them tasks and things to do, but when you set a schedule, right, for your kids, it's hit or miss, right? Because it's like, oh my god, it's 11 p.m. or it's 11 a.m. and so like you were up to like 4 a.m. last night. Like holy hell, we had these things that we wanted to do the next day, and yeah, and then Dad's all on his own trying to figure out how to accomplish all these things that I put on the to do list. So yeah, that's a whole interesting world to navigate, which yeah, yeah. I know you guys are gonna fail me 50% of the time. A 50% success rate. And you want me to pay you? No, it's endearing, and it definitely teaches me a lot because it's like I've been a manager before in different aspects, and I always found myself to be more on the have more empathy and be more compassionate to specific team members that were running into those personal issues. And I think one of my failures is that I'm willing to listen a little too long. I'm willing to sit there for hours and try to address these problems when I'm looking at the clock and I see that, oh my God, I'm 30 minutes late for my next meeting. I have a problem with that, right? Where I want to hold them and hear them out fully. But yeah, on the topic of hiring folks, I think one of the more interesting scenarios of somebody that I've hired and had to fire is they were caught on camera stealing cookies out of someone else's office. And it showed up, and there was a whole investigation about the Cookie Monster. Like, who's the Cookie Monster in the office? And they got fired because they went into this office after hours and took cookies out of somebody's bag. And what I think the part that got the manager, because it was the manager that reported it, the manager was so ticked off because it was a bag of cookies that he ordered from Europe, and it was perfectly sealed, and I think he was giving it as a gift. And it wouldn't have been an issue if it was just like, hey, I brought this for the office, anybody can eat it, but he had a plan for the bag of cookies. And once he saw somebody opened it, it was a trigger that like somebody's coming in my office when I'm not here. And that's what like kicked off this whole like investigation that was taking place there. So yeah, that was unfortunate. Had to let that guy go. Yeah, his nickname is now the Cookie Monster, and he has to tell his next employer why he got fired. Oh, with Gamer Job, yeah, it's going on a little over a year now. Yeah, I started out as an advisor, working, doing my own grassroots esports events within the Austin, Texas area for Dota 2 tournaments, Overwatch tournaments, and watch parties for the Dota 2 International. And 2 years of doing that, DreamHack did their inaugural event, and from then on, I brought them in as a client to help fill seats for the convention center, and I worked closely with their marketing and their sales team to just continue to put butts in seats, right? And so working on the convention side is very eye opening. So I was able to build up, really good contact base, and then take a peek at the virtual side, right? In between, right, working with DreamHack and then COVID, there was this period of time where I'm just traveling around talking about esports, right, promoting DreamHack, promoting the idea of these esports events are going to help different destinations throughout the US. And then COVID comes, and all of a sudden, like, I get these, like, it seemed like COVID hit, and then the very next day, uh, you know uh, having a conversation with, right, Joe, who's our CEO, talking about how we were originally planning to target indie game developers and widening that community so they could meet in a virtual environment like this. But then COVID hit, and we're like, well, we can really do this for anybody. Why aren't we helping everybody like move into this event space to host their meetings, B2B or B2C? And it was just a huge light switch for us. But the problem is that we needed to gamify it more, right? Because we foresaw that there was going to be an issue with exhibitors not wanting to buy a booth for $5,000 at a virtual event if it meant that that nobody was going to be coming and there wasn't anything fun for people to do. And frankly, I don't want to be an exhibitor at an event where I'm stuck to a booth. I absolutely hate that. I hate being stuck to a booth. I want to explore. I want to meet people. I want to go see. I want to go see all the fun things. I don't want to be stuck in one place, and that's always tragic. But in the virtual world, that's great because we get to put digital doorbell, literally a digital doorbell here on the booth, so that you don't have to be stuck to this space. And it's interesting how all the features that exist for a land-based convention, they can also exist here, minus the smells and the touching and the tasting. But you don't necessarily want to do that anyway at the physical event because it can get a little smelly. Especially on a day 3 in a DreamHack. Yeah, it's like the people are literally sleeping underneath their PCs at the LAN, in the LAN area. If you've been to DreamHack, you know what I'm talking about. But the on the virtual side, what's fascinating is that we get to expand all the different features that exist in terms of the gamification and the quest building and the different proof of attendance protocol or POAP. Like if you're following any of that blockchain, the NFT trends that are happening right now, that's turning out to be one of our biggest customers at the moment is the blockchain world. And it's fascinating to see how they approach us and they say, hey, can you do this, this, and this? And we go, no, we can't, but we can certainly help. And through that discovery, we've realized that we can very much expand and do more than what we could in a physical based event. But when things go back online, this is where it's going to get super interesting because using these virtual environments as a preview of a physical event, that's going to be amazing for the pre-sale of tickets where we're typically waiting to day zero. The last couple of like the 16, 8 to 16, 24 hours before the event goes live, when all of the 80% of your ticket sales come through, that is kind of a nightmare for event organizers. They hate that. And that's why they do all those early bird tickets, right? Buy it now because the price is going to go up in order to get that data, because that data is super important for them. We can help on that end to give that. Why don't you come try the community, try the environment, test it before, try before you buy, that kind of mindset. And it's interesting because we get to hide Easter eggs, right? Come find this Easter egg so you can get a little discount, or, come fill out this form so you can get put into a random drawing, or go in and start the scavenger hunt and get ahead of the rest of the attendees, and whoever catches, whoever finds the most scavenger hunt items. Like you get where I'm going with this. So anyway, I don't know where it's going to go next. I can't see the future, but I think as more of the blockchain world starts to integrate itself with the virtual environments, and people are being rewarded for their participation, it's going to be a lot of really cool things that I think are going to surface from that. So if you're looking for a job right now, try to have your feet in 2 different worlds, right? Have your feet in the one thing that you're passionate about, and then on the other hand, have your foot into the innovation that you want to see happen in the space, and just have that as part of your toolkit, because you never know, at some point, right? You've effectively joined an organization, but you also have figured out what their pain points are, and you're able to start your own organization, your own company. And instead of working for somebody, you're really working for yourself. And not everybody wants to do that, but I mean, I feel like it's just the digital world gives us the opportunity to. So why not just have a couple of things that we can watch. We don't want to spread ourselves too thin, but the innovation is very much there. And if we're not adjusting to those innovations, and we're not embracing a lot of the change that I think that's coming, then sometimes we get left behind. And I don't want to see people get left behind in a technologically, like a world that's advancing at almost at light speed in terms of technological advancement. And I don't want to be, one day a senior citizen and, having somebody like, hey, what do I do with this device? Like, what? You mean I have to put a contact lens in my eye in order to have a heads up display to see, like a phone interface? Like, that's where we're heading. But I'm going to be an old man at that point, and I don't want to be too far behind the curve. But anyway, I don't think it's a realistic concern, but I think it's hilarious nonetheless. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, and if there was kind of I think a wish list for the kinds of jobs that are coming within the esports world. And I know you each have your own kind of a specialized area that you're focused in. Like, if it's not in that path, are there other right? Because here, let me give you an example. On the physical land-based event, you have those creative folks that help design what the event space looks like. We now have that for the digital side, where people are literally designing what the digital production would look like for these events, where you can't just take an event manager, put them in this position, and they'll know what to do. Right? It's a totally new career path that is really just forming because of all of these virtual events that are taking place. Do you see some of those new careers that are being formed? This is kind of a tough and loaded question because it's like you're kind of taking a risk because it might not happen. Anybody? Yeah, yeah. So one funny thing is like somebody who's just managing TikTok accounts. So like who would have thought, right, that that was a career? But it's somebody's doing it. Somebody's out there managing like dozens of TikTok accounts and publishing content that's being sent to them and editing it and posting it, and that's all they do all day long. Ghostwriting on Twitter, yeah, yeah, yeah. What else? I feel like no, voiceover hasn't really done much innovation there, except for I think more storytelling. I think video games are going to go back to more narrative style because we're already seeing it with Apex Legends. I think Overwatch wants to get back to that more with some of the narrative elements. It'd be interesting to see, what innovations have in there in voiceover because that's a place that I care about because I love doing voiceover. That's fun. The On the esports side, here's another one that's super interesting. Uh, Removing that kind of because right now there's a separation between spectator and player. Right, you got the players that are on the stage doing like their magic and doing amazing things in the competition, and then you got the players that are just sitting spectating, but they don't actually get to affect the gameplay. So I'm curious to see like what careers are being created because I know some companies that are working on this, but I don't know entirely where this is going to go. But some kind of interface so that you are blurring that veil, the separation between spectator and player. I don't know. I'll stop there. You guys feel free to take that apart. Hmm. Hello. No, don't apologize. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Take care, Corey. That's awesome. So yeah, Nicole, I am currently walking around as a mobile cameraman and streaming my content out. So if you think of the convention center and they've got the screen outside, that's kind of similar to what I'm giving to people that are following on Twitch and LinkedIn and wherever. I would love to hear from your perspective, like what has the past year been from your vantage point, from a partnerships perspective? Lots of people saying, "Hey, do events here, make some impact over here, use this technology." What does that look like for you over the past year? And do you find any relief in this kind of immersive space? That's fair. Hmm. Awesome. No, that's super insightful. I want to shift a little bit because you mentioned that being a new member to the NRG team means that you recently went through that the process of trying to figure out if you were the right fit, right? Going through the interview experience. I think that's super valuable for some of the folks who are trying to move in, right, and fill a position with NRG. What was some of the without kind of breaking it down, I'm not trying to go forensic here on it, but what were some of the key things that you took away from that? Like one or two things that you could think of that, uh, that maybe you realize in hindsight was, oh, okay, that was a winning thing that I said there that helped, kind of flip the switch on to show them that you were good for this partnerships role, because that might be valuable for some of the other positions that are part of the acquisition or requisitions rather that some of these new hires or at least these candidates are trying to put their hat right, put their name in the hat for. Hmm. Good timing. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. That's excellent. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Nicole, because that's you are in probably one of the most relatable positions for folks that are here trying to land in those positions because you recently went through it. You made a small. I'm not going to say a career change, but I think consolidating the work that you're already doing and then moving that into right energy esports. So congratulations on that. That is huge. I love that relatability is there for some of the folks that are coming in here in the event. One recommendation that I'll make to you is that these booths actually work as kind of a digital doorbell. So it isn't entirely like essential for you to be glued to it for the whole event. Do explore, do go see all the different things that there are to do within the event space, because the folks that come in here, they have a way to reach you either through the contact information, or if it isn't in there within the booth, right, you can add it as a link, a way to reach whoever's here. There's a couple of ways to set that up, but we can take that conversation outside of the live stream. But the other cool thing about Gamer Jibe currently is that what we're not seeing is that we can add live stream to this event space. So if there is a period of time in the future where NRG would like to broadcast live feed specifically for this room, you can break down the live stream up to 11 different tracks. So we could have one live stream for over the top for the entire event space, or we can break it down by room. So if at any point you want to have a live feed in here and, at the next event, or, maybe for the rest of the month, or sometime during, like the remaining days of this month while this event space is open, there's an opportunity to use that. So take full advantage of being in this virtual space and encouraging people to come in to get the information, check out the requisitions, and have this proverbial digital doorbell set up so people can learn more about what it is that you're trying to fill. So yeah, just some helpful information there. One last question that I have for you is what is the top position and probably the most important position, I guess. Maybe the most urgent, I think, is a better way to put it. Uh, let me restate that question then. What is probably the most urgent position that NRG is trying to fill? Okay, great. Okay, Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's brilliant. And Nicole, what's your last name? I'll find you on LinkedIn. Oh, Gad, gotcha. All right, all right. I'm going to send you a connection. This is brilliant. I really, again, congratulations on taking on this partnerships role. I hope it's treating you well, and I hope it's giving you plenty of things to keep you busy, which I'm sure it will. And I'll be wandering the event space. I'm going to go head to some other booths and do, like some more Q&A with some folks. I've really enjoyed this conversation. So yeah, I'll be in touch. Talk to you later. Thanks, thanks. You do the same. Cheers. Let's do it. Yeah. Who do you want to go to first? Excellent. Excellent. Let's go flash mob 'em. I need to change up my hairstyle a little bit. Feeling a little exhausted by this bowl cut. Awesome. Awesome. And they're in product and services, correct? Product and services. Excellent. All right. You can also teleport there if you want to use a teleport button. Very good. Yes. Start it up, mate. And I'll follow you. Somebody went into the wrong door. I love the bunny hops. Colleen. Hi, Colleen. Hi. How are you? Get good. Oh, mm, think, here, catch this rocket. Yeah. Wait, what? Oh, oh, wait, Viper got buffed? Please share. Oh, so it's not a slow tick. Oh no. Oh yes. Okay. 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 I'm tracking this one. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that seems like having suppressive fire. I come from a military background, so I'm always down with squad movement drills, and suppressive fire is a big part of squad movement in the army. And on occasion, I'll see it in esports matches. Unless it, more so near the end, right when you're down to the wire and you either need to disarm or you're planting, right? But um, you guys might be able to watch more than I have. Is this a common thing that you see where suppressive fire and alternating fire is a part of some of these tier one teams now? Are they incorporating that more? Because I imagine they're getting that consultation from somebody from the military on squad movement. Because if I were an owner of esports team, I would have somebody from the military. Like I really would. Hmm. Hmm. You, you left. Yeah. So I have a question for Colleen. Colleen, are you still with us? Excellent. Okay. So State Space has recently had a really big raise, right? Which that's always exciting. Congratulations. I'm not exactly sure how long you've been with State Space, but that raise is significant, not only just for State Space, but any other gaming product service provider within the industry. That I'm not trying to say that like everybody's going to make that achievement, but from your vantage point, does it give you more confidence that you and others are also going to see that continued growth? Because I feel like that does translate into some growth that's happening there. From your perspective, feel free to share anything and unpack what I've just shared with you. But um, what does that mean for you guys? What direction does that mean you guys get to go in? More R&D, more hiring? Okay. Hmm. Yeah, that's a good bottleneck. That's a good problem to have. While you don't want the bottlenecking to happen for too long. But it's good to know that it's a signal, right? We can adjust to the signal and make the necessary plans to try to execute to alleviate and let people get in there. What are some of the top, like more urgent roles that you're looking to fill? Okay, yeah, that's quite the menu for. Oh my goodness! Yeah, well, congratulations. That's incredible. I don't want to hog all the airtime. I am live streaming this, so this is something that gets to reach some folks on multiple platforms where I'm broadcasting it to. So this is fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. But if anybody else had any questions for Cully, this is a great time for you to either tell a terrible joke or you can share with us terrible gameplay clips if you want to share that on chat, and I will put that on the live stream if you have some fails that you would like me to share. But it has to be you can't share someone else's fails. It's got to be your fails. So like if you got some clips that you want to share, but anyway, yeah, I'll pass the mic. Someone else have a stab at asking Colleen some questions. Well, can we cannot confirm or deny. I have a harder question. Super hard. Remote onboarding, right? Sometimes can be there can be a success and failure rate. Are you from just from January when you first came on board? What is that success rate or failure rate? Right? Is it greater than 50%? Right? Do you feel like there's a good retention? Right? When you're remoting or at least getting remote hires on board? Awesome. That means you're finding the right person for kind of taking on some of those tasks. Yeah. Yeah, that's excellent. Colleen, you've been, uh, yeah, this has been outstanding. You have really great answers for a lot of these questions. Did anybody else have any questions before I jump to another booth on the live stream? Unless we had another bad joke. they're they're trying to put some fires out about the game being offline. Yeah, that's yeah, Khalil. So I have a question for you, my friend. What give us some insight into like I imagine are you here looking for work first? Let's start there. Excellent. And what are some of the challenges that you're trying to overcome with like landing the right job? Have you been meeting a lot of people and it's not the right fit, or is it you're still trying to build up your skill sets to meet what the employers are looking for? Okay. Mhm. Yeah. Sounds like you need to be in a lab. Yeah. You need to be involved with like some tech and to get your hands on something. Do you have experience in maybe like coding? I imagine you don't like to be behind the computer all that much, but it seems like we need to have some general understanding of kind of agile workflow because a lot of these games are like they're all software focused. So we have to be able to integrate with the software development teams to ensure that they get the support that they need, but also they're developing a product. So there's a lot of ancillary and outside roles that have many touch points with the coders themselves. I'm not a coder; it's not my wheelhouse. But what does that look like for you? Is it not coding? It sounds to me like you'd prefer to be more on maybe the product or sales or marketing side. What does that look like for you? You're not alone, man. You're not alone. Yes. Building hype. Yeah, that's right. Yes. Yeah, it's difficult because the technology and the workflow and the really the business workflow as well, like how we prioritize which problems we want to solve first. It doesn't always happen the same way, right? Each company's kind of doing their own thing, and there's an evolution in how we isolate. What are we going to tackle first? What problems are we going to prioritize that need to be solved? So my biggest fear is that the classic, like education route where you go get your certifications, you go through higher learning and you graduate, where is the guarantee that you're going to fit directly in with, like the what a company needs are, and to ensure that what you learn in college is actually going to have a one-to-one, right, transition really into the types of jobs that exist today. And that's that's always a struggle for me with higher learning. And I don't discourage it. I think there's very much either you go the military route or you go to college, university. There's a lot you're going to get out of it. There are people you're going to meet. There's ideas you're going to be introduced to, right? It's a whole. It's really like you need to get yourself in front of different cultures and different groups and understand what works for them, because really it's a community after all, and we got to be a part of some kind of community. So I'm just do you share, I don't know if you share those concerns, like, because you mentioned you don't want to forget the things that you've learned. Yeah, yeah, please. I love that idea, Cam. Daniel, what's good, mate? Hey, I'm doing fantastic. Hey, just had full disclosure. You are on the live stream currently. Yeah, yeah, we are. Yeah, so I'm handling some of the live stream component, just giving people a tour from the outside of the event space so they can see what's in here. But yeah, you're welcome to connect with me. You can ask me whatever questions you like because I'm actually talking about the GamerJive platform. If you had any questions about it. Excellent. All right. So yeah, I think what we should do is connect offline, and I will get you. I'm going to send you a connection request over LinkedIn. So we should definitely talk. And then I found your link, Daniel, and I'm going to go ahead and send you that connection request. This is also helping on the live stream because I can show people how easy it is for folks to make connections with other attendees. Good to connect with you, good sir. And that message is sent. There you go, my friend. And we should definitely talk. Yeah, there's all kinds of fun things that we've been doing on the platform. Was there any particular event idea that you had in mind? Because I always love talking about event configuration. Hmm. Excellent. Hmm. Yeah, that's you bring up a really good point because there's a lot of fractured communities, even here in the States. I live in the Austin, Texas area, and we have different communities that here exist within the city that could be the like FGC community with fighting games. It could be right with League of Legends. There's a little overlap between them, but they don't necessarily show up at the same events. Similar to like some of the FPS games, and really, the only time that a lot of these communities get together is when like conventions come into town, like DreamHack, or like some of the anime conventions or Wizard World. But those things aren't happening right now, and we don't know when they're going to come back fully. But through these kinds of immersive environments, it's interesting to see that blockchain is very much adopting it. We're seeing that the on the watch party side that there's the planning stages for those big tournaments, right? For Worlds, I would love to see like Worlds happen where there's a watch party component here. Even if it's not on GamerJob, it's just I'm passionate about esports, so I would love to see that community find a place to consolidate the fractured communities because you're right. You might be part of the gaming club at your school, but it's just you and 5 or 10 other your friends. But if you can come online in a place like this and you can meet with everybody within the nation or globally to connect and celebrate that experience, because not everybody can afford that ticket, right? To buy that flight out to right maybe China or the Philippines or wherever a big event is going to take place. So I'm glad that you recognize that right away. I mean, I think we're going to have a lot to talk about. Daniel, thanks for bringing this up. That's brilliant. Yeah, that warms my heart. It means we're on the right path. It gives me a lot of confirmation and affirmation, rather, to see that we're going to continue to layer different features in to make it more not just accessible, but also valuable for the support from the exhibitors and the sponsors to come in and get their brands in here because they want to meet people. They want to have those conversations. They want to be able to distribute their products and services out to the communities. And one of the chief complaints that I hear, either on Twitter or on Reddit or in Clubhouse, is that sponsors don't want to just buy to get ad placement and to get a video watched and get a link put on a website. They want to immerse themselves in the crowd. They want to be able to distribute content in a unique and a gamified way, not just something in a webinar where you see ads that are running. And frankly, that just, it puts me to sleep. I try to go through some of those conferences where they call it a virtual event and it's really just a webinar. You're sitting there watching videos. So you bring up a really interesting and a really important point about how virtual events are being promoted to the community. It's not actually a virtual event in the sense of an event where people are actually celebrating and having impromptu random meetings and random conversations, and not oh, we're just going to shuffle you with a group of people and good luck trying to get to know people in that 15-minute window and have meaningful information to share, because everyone's fighting over for airtime. And it's I don't like that. I really like people being able to take the time to have quality connections with one another. But anyway, yeah, Daniel, this is exciting. I really appreciate your feedback and your insights. And if there's any other ideas that you have, I'm definitely going to be in touch with you. But keep note of the different ways that you think you could use a space like this. And I'll very much I can also share with you how other events have found success using this, in either from like an exhibitor standpoint, or to like the customization and avatar creation and the gaming side. Lots of cool things that we've been able to layer in to make it more fun and interactive. Yeah. Hmm. Awesome. Thanks, Daniel. So yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, I appreciate it. Yeah, and we'll definitely talk again. Have fun for the rest of the event. Yes, thank you. Cheers. Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm here, mate. Oh yeah. Let me. Uh, yeah, I'm here. Let's talk, man. Here, step into the beanbag area, and we'll have a chit chat. Awesome. See you there. Leo, what's good, man? Awesome. Well, welcome back. Yeah. So, what has the experience been like for you so far? That's great. That's awesome. And some of the advice that you got for your resume, does it seem like it's, advice that'll help point you in a good direction? Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Can I ask, how old are you? Awesome, man. That's very cool. And so, how long, I guess, when was that first kind of aha moment for you, gaming, esports, sort of trying to land a job, right? When did that occur to you? Like that was a path you could go down? Nice. All right. Can you remember the moment when? Was it like during a gaming session or was it like something you saw, on YouTube or on the internet? Awesome. All right. Is it you might have a future in journalism, it sounds like. If you understand all those titles that are coming out specifically in 2017, that's remarkable. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, because this event space will continue to be open. They might turn off voice and video, but what's great is that like all the information that's in here, there's a lot of content, and it's you might not be able to get it within the 2 or 3 hour window, but that's what's great about these virtual event spaces is that they can continue to remain persistent, so that we can come in there later and get some of that information, even go back and read through the chat logs and see what kind of conversations were happening over chat. So that yeah, I recommend take full advantage of that. But, sometimes it doesn't seem like it would be a good fit, but find somebody who is also trying to land a job in the esports world. And while we don't want to directly compete with our friends are looking for other things to do anyway. They might be passionate about something else, but it's always good to have an ally. Which it might be obvious to you. I might be preaching to the choir here a bit, but yeah, I wish you all the luck. I think the esports world is just uncovering a lot of new jobs and a lot of new career paths, and it's just going to continue to do that. So be as flexible as you can with the skill sets that you do have. And I think putting yourself, in a place where you can be a little vulnerable and work outside of your comfort zone, I think it'll work it's just massively in your benefit, because, employers want to know how we handle stress and how we handle situations where it's going to challenge us. I'm not saying I'm, a perfect human being by no means, but, like we all are, victims to culture in our own, right. The terrible things that we say to ourselves in our head when we're, you know, um, being critical of our work, right? The perfectionist, the voice in our head that's like, no, 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 that's not good enough. That's not good enough. So yeah, yeah, you'll. I think being surrounded by the gaming community is just awesome in general. Some people have a bad perspective and others, don't. But I think that exists in every industry, where you have a segment where they only focus on the bad things and they don't really offer any solution. And I think that's a dangerous place to spend too much time in. Anyhow, if we want to talk about the bad stuff, we also have to look at what solutions are out there. Not for not for us to take on that task ourselves, but at least just for the messaging itself, right? Just if we're going to be on socials and we're going to be throwing out like all the awful things about gaming, the toxicity, right? That's out there. That's a big one, right? And the way that women are treated. I have a daughter now, and I hear the way that people are talking to her when she gets into a game and she's playing Valorant, or she's playing Overwatch, or she's getting into an FPS, and somebody hears her talk and they're like, "Yo, is that a girl?" And I'm like, "Oh man, here we go." I'm gonna say like 80% of the time people are really cool and they're chill and they're fine with what's going on. But I feel like the bad stuff gets a bullhorn for whatever reason. It gets a sounding board and it gets blasted because the internet is just easy for us to share that content out there. Anyway, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know this is probably nothing new to you. You know, it's like the internet is the internet. It's if you're looking for the terrible things, you're gonna find it, right? You're gonna find all of those things. So, yeah, don't let the naysayers. That's another thing. Like when I first started to pursue the esports world, there were people that are like, "What? What are you wasting your time for? Video games? What? Are you crazy? You need to get back to your 9 to 5 desk job, and you need to continue collecting that paycheck because you know that's what you need to do and that's what everyone else is doing." And so when you're surrounded by people like that, that isn't always uplifting, but it's what can we do except surround ourselves with other people that are just kind of accept us for who we are and are willing to allow us to take a risk. So I don't know what situation you're in and all that. I don't know if that all resonates with you, but as a personal journey for myself, it's it has its ups and downs, but it doesn't go without helping you build some resilience, right? Because even the gaming world could pivot completely. There could be a new gaming title and new esports teams, and one year one team is on top, and then the next year they might not be. And that's just the reality of it, and it's good to prepare for that. So anyway, yeah, Khalil, any questions top of mind? Anything at all that I can answer for you? I've got you on the live stream, so this is good stuff. I do. Yeah, yeah. Just click on my name in the attendee list, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn that way. And I think I sent you. I may have sent you a connection request already. Forgive me if I haven't. Yeah, I'm juggling a couple of things over here. But anyway, so this I do have to wrap up the live stream. I have to get ready for an important call that's coming up with our team. But Khalil, yeah, best of luck, my friend. Yeah, don't give up on the pursuit to find that, land that dream job, man. And I know you can do it. Just don't give up on it. It's nice. Yeah. Y- Yeah, be happy. You want to just be content, right? We want to, we want to help people, and I think that's the part of it is like if we find joy in being selfless and being of service to others, I think that helps us knock some walls down, and we're able to get ahead of the line a little bit when we have that service mentality, right? I don't know if it works for you. I'm not telling you how to go about your pursuit for your dreams, but that's kind of worked for me, where I put as much energy into the things that I want to accomplish as much as I want to help solve problems for people that are working on my team. Even if I can't solve the problem for them, I want to spend some time to figure out what resources exist there in order to make that reality happen. But anyway, all right, Khalil, this has been a blast. This event has been a lot of fun for me. I hope it's been fun for you, and like we'll hopefully see you at the next one. But maybe you'll be looking to bring people on your team. That's awesome. All right, take care, my friend. Cheers. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of valuable information just in kind of just enjoying existing conversations taking place. So yeah, carry on, mate. Thanks, Karen. Yeah, I really appreciate that. One of our lead developers are actually he's based in the UK, and this has been a phenomenal project to be able to have our entire team working remotely. We're based out of Chicago primarily, but we have folks in California, UK. I'm in Austin, Texas, and we're very young, so I really appreciate the feedback because we want this to work, right? We want this to work in more than just kind of the webinar style, which is what people are calling quote the virtual events, and that's just it's missing the mark in so many ways and literally putting people to sleep. So as you notice, and you may have seen this, is as people are talking to you, they're actually walking and jumping and almost like. Is this like the new fidget cube or the fidget spinner? Where oh no, afraid to touch anything. Yeah, don't worry, you're not gonna break it. But there could be yes. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's a good idea because I'm pushing 40 years old now, so my kids I do play FPS games with them, and in fact I introduce them to all the games that they're playing currently. But they're exploring outside of what I've just shared with them, so they're covering content, especially on TikTok, that I can't pay attention to. So that's incredibly valuable from being in, like working in these industries and having some insight on what they're doing. I consult with my kids. I'm not kidding. I sit down with them and I go, "Hey guys, can you help me understand what is the appeal of this content? This sample of content over here. I don't know if you can relate to that." Yeah. Yeah, my daughter's 15. She's getting ready to turn 16 here soon, and my son is about to turn 13. Ah, yes, but Roblox is huge, absolutely huge. I think they're beyond $1 billion company now. Yeah. Yes. hmm Yes. The things that children value nowadays in the digital space rather than material objects. That's fascinating to me. The whole skin world, NFTs now in the virtual world. We're discussing POAP. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, but that's going to be, the blockchain world has adopted it and they're trying to implement and roll it out. But POAP is simply proof of attendance protocol. So it's basically immortalizing your participation in these kinds of events through various ways. And, it's kind of like, people get all their badges, right? When, like I'm helping fill convention centers, right, for DreamHack. I love to keep my badges. I love to keep them and hang them up. And, they were in my wall. And then any other swag or merch that I could get my hands on, right, that became part of the experience. But now on the digital side, attendees they still want that experience, and exhibitors still want to give that kind of experience. And so we're learning a lot of that from the blockchain community because they are leaps and bounds ahead of us in terms of innovation, and that's just a truth of the matter because they understand the power of technology and they're willing to take a lot of risks. So that's an easy event organizer for us to connect with because they look at stuff. They look at a platform like GamerJibe and they instantly say, "Yes, my community can exist here," and that's been exciting. We had one event, and I'll try not to steal the airtime too much, but just one last thought we had 31,000 people participating in this event across multiple platforms, and they were giving away $250,000 in bounties to software coders to basically it was a hackathon, but they were forming teams here within the virtual castle, is what they called it, and they promoted as kind of like the metaverse, and they designed the entire place to look like their physical venue in Denver, Colorado. This event was called ETH Denver, so I don't know if you're familiar with it, but what an eye-opening experience from the blockchain community and the power of assembling your audience and your user base and putting them together to earn some prizes. And it very much was akin. It felt like I was at an actual convention with the kinds of stories that were happening and the impromptu connections. And I think what was most memorable is people are like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a year. I haven't seen you in so long. It's so good to see you." And hearing those kinds of interactions, like you can't not appreciate that kind of impromptu connection that you can't get that on a webinar, unfortunately. And yeah, I'm tooting my own horn here. Gamer Jibe, it's great, but I think what's even more important is the quality human connection aspect of it, and I think that recipe is still not fully solved. So if anyone has some good ideas, it might be worth $1 million. So let me know, and I'll take care of you too. Yeah, yeah. Just let me know if you've got some ideas, and I'll help you out. I'll take care of you. Very new, very new. Yeah, we're a very small team. I think we've got like 12 or 13 staff that are various, either contract or full time. And then we had this product is about a year old, so we started out with a product pre-COVID that was specifically for indie game developers, and then COVID hit and realized like we can really serve a much larger community, and now we're primarily focused on blockchain and esports. Yeah, and of course, we serve all kinds of other events, right? Like hiring events and startups pitching to investors, and private family Christmas parties with three generations of relatives getting together on camera to connect with one another. Yeah, the military is using us for hiring events. We have watch parties for esports events, and that one's still in kind of the planning stages because these publishers, they don't do anything overnight, right? They will take their sweet sweet time to plan everything out A through Z. They don't want to miss a thing because they want to deliver something authentic, and I appreciate that about the publishers on the gaming and esports side. But yeah, we're doing some really fun things, and I think that on the blockchain side for blockchain video games, that's an interesting one because they're doing live auctions for NFTs. And if you haven't seen a live auction with NFTs take place, then just keep an eye out for a couple of events that are coming up, and you'll see like it gets pretty hyped. I have not seen something as hype in a virtual event than some of the live auctions where people are bidding on some of these in-game NFTs. So that was really interesting, very eye-opening stuff. Thanks, Karen. Yeah, yeah. And so, question for you on the immortal side: what is the probably the most critical role that you're looking to fill within, like the immortals? I guess any of the requisitions that you've opened up. Hmm. That's excellent. Yeah, you've got to be careful with that because that's a long term strategy, and you want to make sure it's the right fit, right? Yeah, you don't want to go a couple months into it and realize like, this this actually is not working out. Yeah, that's for sure. Yes, right. It's like one of my first questions that I always ask is, have you hosted an esports tournament before? Have you experienced the failures of power turning off for 25% of your LAN and you have to issue refunds to like a large portion of your community? Have you experienced that pain or like computers literally catching on fire? Have you experienced that yet? No, it doesn't need to be that traumatic for everybody in order to say that they've been there and done it. But I think that relatability is super important. You're bringing up some really good points. Hmm. Yes. Mm.